40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. Forty Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. Forty Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. Forty Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. 40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. Forty Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Green White Checker TV, where tonight we have the Area 51 Super Speedway Xfinity Series here tonight at Daytona International Speedway. Drivers putting down their qualifying laps as we speak, as this is going to be race number 6 of our 14-week season. So we'll be here tonight, and right, like I said, drivers putting their qualifying laps. And I say, Brandon, you can probably chime into it more here, but we got Everett Lane getting the win last week at Talladega. And so looking at the points, that actually jumped him up 4 spots into that top 10, which again, top 12 is going to be that magic cutoff window. So sooner than later, drivers are going to start to look at where they are in the points. There is going to be one drop week. So if you are able to make all your races, your worst race will get dropped. So at least kind of have that behind in their kind of their pocket, if you will. But man, right now I'm going to say Gabe has been on a roll. I mean, it's nothing that we're surprised about, but in the 5 races, he's had 2 wins, 4 top 5s, 4 top 10s, and then obviously Cody, always one to watch as well. In his 5 starts, he also has 2 wins, 3 top 5s, but then 5 top 10s. So he has been in top 10 every race this season. And also Joshua Highball as well, 5 top 10s on all of his starts. So kind of just quietly staying in that top 3 spot. And we've talked about him during the playoffs last season, where he was right there on the cusp, just kind of lurking in the shadows and ready to pounce if anybody faltered. So I said right now those are the top 3 in the points. It's going to be fun to see. Of course, once we get to those final 4 races, once everything resets and we get everybody back to basically to 0 for those top 12 drivers.
Yeah, touching back to Everett Lane, had a really good run on Friday. Had some bad luck at the end, but you nailed it. He's really been hot, not just on Fridays, but on Sundays also. And I think it's Team Boot knocking a hole. You know, them guys have really got it figured out, and they bring a lot of guys to the track. And when you can get all that experience and put it together, success is going to follow. And I'm going to bring up the same thing I did on Friday with touching back to the points. It starts off with Jim Brooks. He's sitting 12th right now, but just maybe 10 or so points under, his 16th with Dale Rapp. So these races start to become more crucial, and every spot starts to matter.
Yeah, and that's where those bonus points we talked about too come in now, where before it was where you finished is where you finished. But now you got the bonus points leading a lap, leading the most laps. That's going to come into play, I think, more and more over the course of these seasons. So that's going to be something these drivers are going to have to be kind of being aggressive about. Like I said, maybe doing a strategy call where they say, hey, maybe I stay out or I lead a lap and then I come in, or just push early then ride to the back. Like, it's not going to be one of those ones where you can just sit and wait for something to open up. So it'll be fun to see what the strategy is going to be for these guys. And yeah, looking at the points from last week's race, and it was Gabe able to didn't get the win, like I said, ever getting that win, but he was able to get 3 bonus points for leading a lap as well as 2 for leading the most laps. So again, even though he didn't get that win, though, he actually wound up with more points than Todd Merkel, who finished ahead of him. So those are those little things, those little numbers, they add up pretty quick.
Yeah, and when you start putting those together with the 8 races that we run, 2 or 3 bonus points, that's an extra 24 points at the end that you get to add on top of, and that's not even counting, just winning, when he does win. So conquering when it matters and getting the points. So just expect the intensity to rise and the pushes to get harder. And when you come to a narrower track like Daytona, the third lane can always cause havoc, and you don't want to find yourself up there at the wrong time.
Yeah, exactly right. So we'll run through our starting grid for tonight, as it will be Cody Nagels on pole position in that number 16, Dean Wilkinson right next to him in that number 55 TW machine. Then you got Dude Conrad third, Eric Laurie in fourth, Charles Johnson, Robert Hooligan there, row number 3, Jack Walls, Maxwell Caldwell 7th, 8th, and then top 10 are going to finish off with last week's winner Everett Lane and Hayden Davis. Bud Steele in the 11th, Doug Webb in the 12th position. So we continue down the order. Then you got Thomas Holder, Justin Davis there, Jim Duda, Gary Huffines, Dale Rapp, Bob Fitzgerald, Joshua Highball. We just talked about him being that top 3 in the points. Robert Amaral next to him. Then you got Anthony Lane. And then the first of those not to qualify or put a lap in are going to be Vicente Guerrero there, Jim Brooks, and Gabe Butler. A little surprised on the Gabe one. Gabe's usually a driver that does put a qualifying lap in. So we'll have to see what the strategy is for him in that number 88 tonight.
Yeah, Gabe on Friday had some qualifying issues. Didn't cause him no problems. Was able to get right through the field. But yeah, different approach for the 88. And we were talking about the bonus points. And hopefully one day we'll get this. I'll get blessed with this, and that's giving a bonus point to the best looking race car. Before we get going, I was peeking around and Dude Conrad, and I know it's Daytona and the Super Speedway, and the 8 is so traditional here, but the colors with the night. The 8 pops. So when you're paying attention to these cars, make sure you give the 8 a peek.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Nighttime too, the paint schemes, yeah, you see it go by there. And for me, the one that always pops is the chrome numbers always make a big change. I say Bud Steele's going to be easy to find. I'll say he went to the tie-dye shop, looks like, or maybe the paintball booth. I'm not sure which. But I say Bud's will be easy to spot as well here tonight. And also Gary Huffine's very colorful paint scheme on that 00. So again, and that's one of the fun things to do is, like you said, just kind of have some fun with the paint schemes. Of course, things that maybe you support or just you enjoy. So it'll be curious to see kind of as we go. And I say Bud's always one that changes those paint schemes around. So there's never a dull moment with him. And got to give some love over to Matt peeking in on the YouTube chat. Hope you are doing well, Mr. Wagner, as we're about to get this one underway. So you better get your left and right hand turns practice in for on Tuesday night with the Indy cars there, Matt, as they'll be at Watkins Glen. That's going to be a fun one too, Brandon, because they're going to be running the NASCAR version without the bus stop. So those cars are going to be hauling the mail into the carousel turn. Should be really exciting to see what they have in store.
Yeah, them fellas over there, they're a different breed. I tried to pop in there and run a couple races with them. Complete different breed. I don't understand how they do it. I'm just going to stick to turning left and keeping it that way. But I think this pace car is getting ready to peel off. Good looking paint scheme on that flat black from Dean Wilkinson, Mr. Pit Stop himself. We'll see what he has up his sleeve tonight, as we've always seen him making it right to the wire at 55 mile an hour.
Yep, and I was saying when we get a break, I'll give you some insider info too. I'll have some fun things coming up shortly for not next week's race, but the following race. I'm going to have an off week on Friday and Sunday, just kind of space the schedule out a little bit. However, we're about to get underway here, Brandon, as the green flag is out, and we are underway here at Daytona. Cody Nagels and Dean Wilkinson leading the field to the green.
Yeah, Cody Nagel's going to lead that inside line. Got a pretty good start. Missed Friday night's race. Going to hurt him a little bit over there, but it looks like he's ready to make up for it. Getting out ahead early of this pack, and we've seen him so much this year be aggressive, being out front, and trying to lead this pack around. He's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, lap one, obviously, that's the easiest way to get that bonus point. Just get the lap led, and then you don't have to stress about it. And then you can decide how greedy do you want to be. Try to see if you can lead the most amount of laps. And obviously the magic number on that one, you take that 75 number, cut it in half, and let's say, so if you can pull that number off, so basically lap, 37, if you can lead 37 laps, that's going to be the magic number on 38, I guess, technically, because you got to go to the even number on the end of it. So But yeah, right there, lap number 1, I believe, does go to Cody, but you could see it was tight between he and Dean there at the line.
Yeah, very tight racing here to start out. Good run there, start here for the 071, turning things around over there in that camp, and I think that just comes back to Team Bootnaka, and how much experience they have and how knowledgeable they are, and we've seen it not just this year with Eric, how he's starting to turn things around, but Justin Davis, he hopped in with those guys last year and learned a few things, and he's in the top 5 in points, so it just shows how much spending some time with those guys and picking their brain, what it can do for a driver in their craft, and those guys are really tough to beat.
Yeah, and the other part that I love about them too is, I mean, it's something that we've had plenty of chances to talk to Gabe and those guys, and it's never a hey, no, it's just us and that's the team that we're gonna have. It's hey, if you want some help or if you want to run with us and see what we do, any kind of learn something from it, by all means let us know and we'll get you in there. So I've always really liked that too, just the openness of willing to work with guys. So that's been a really fun one to see with those guys. And honestly, I'm pretty sure most of the teams would be the same thing, kind of an open door policy. If you want to run with stuff, so yeah, man, come on over. And like I said, for me, it's usually kind of more of a hang than anything. So, but yeah, right now it's still holding pretty steady. You can see Cody's got just a full car length now ahead. Not enough for Dude to do anything with it, though, so it's going to stay with Dean leading the outside lane. And right now, not a lot of big movers. The first couple that are able to jump up a couple spots, Thomas Holder in that 11 car. He is up on the outside lane there. Who is he behind? He's behind Maxwell Caldwell, though. And right behind him, the 33 of Jim Duda as well. They're up, well, was up 3 spots, now 2 spots again as they kind of cycle around. But what I'm watching right now, though, here, Brandon, is just there's been some big pushes going on. I feel like, again, we're early, but I already started thinking, man, do they need to start being careful about those water temps, or are they still finding a way to manage it at the same time?
Yeah, I think they're getting a little bit more beneficial here with it staying too wide early. You can really let off and you can cool the cars down. You don't have to worry about racing nearly as hard as you would if there was a third line. And that's what's really shocking me is that nobody's peaked up there yet. On Friday night, we know how much iRacing changes things. Guys jumped up there immediately, and they went from the back to the front. So shocking to see that. But back to the water temps, yeah, you can see there's plenty of a gap. These guys, they're going to push hard, I think, but not getting so hard where they're not letting off of the car in front of them and really making any chaos. So pretty strong pushes, but nothing too chaotic yet.
Yeah, I was keeping an eye to see if we saw any movements going to happen. I thought for a moment Dude had an option to try to jump up top there out of 2. Wasn't available to him, so he had to stay down. And now you can see Eric Corey giving Dean a nice push there out of 4. Now let's say this will be a close one here for the line. Can Dean get it? The answer is going to be yes. So if he didn't get one before, we can easily say Dean Wilkinson leads that lap. So bonus point goes into the pocket of that 55. And we didn't mention, Brennan, we got that magic lap number, say, put a little bit of the drivers. That will be lap 31, completion 31 going to 32. So that'll be another lap that we aim for these drivers to watch. And that will be after the first scheduled pit stop, which I was hearing from Gabe was right on that magic number, right around that 25 or so lap margin. So if these guys can, of course, if they can go 25, 26 laps, if we go green, at that point, it would be a 2-stop race. So expect to see some drivers try to do a little bit of alternate strategies. I do worry about those up front, like Cody burning all the fuel. I was going to say like Dean as well, but now Dean's actually got a little, Eric Lorry's got some sort of, I saw him blink, I saw a hardware failure, I think, and big hits for some guys. Nothing they could do. Caution's going to be out. And yeah, just there's some sort of a hardware failure I saw with Eric Lorry's car. Saw the blink, and then you can see it hooked straight to the wall. Something happened to Eric there. Unfortunately, though, a few innocent bystanders there. Gary Huffines, Jim Duda, we just mentioned. Justin Davis involved as well. And then, let's see, I think Gabe maybe got through unscathed. I believe there's at least one other car. We'll go back and take a look at this. But I did see right before it was happening, there was something that happened to Eric. And it just looked like something broke on the car. So we'll jump back to the 071 here. And you'll see he kind of cuts down to the inside here like he's going to go 3 wide. And then you'll see then the car just abruptly turns to the right. And so, yes, there's some sort of a failure there on the hardware side, either computer, wheel, it's hard to say. And then, unfortunately, just then you see, the reaction there, the the 11, the 33, the 19, all kind of getting all squished together there. Just again, nothing that they could do. You can see there. You see, the 33, who's at the 10, I believe, the 00. Looks like Jim Brooks maybe gets a small piece of it as well. So we'll have to take a look at the 51 and see how that car. It doesn't look too worse for wear. But yeah, so unfortunately, that's going to put us under the first yellow for tonight, and that's a tough one. I mean, again, there's nothing that any of those guys could do. Obviously, for Eric's sake too. Just and you can see, I mean, that car's completely broken right front there. So yeah, that wheel's completely 90 degrees off there. So he's just trying to drag this thing to pit road. So yeah, let's bring up the first yellow here, Brendan. Lap number 8 at the line right now. And so that's also going to put him pretty close. It should be enough to get to the lap 31 mark on fuel. But yeah, now at this point, though, we'll know everybody's going to pit here. So now it for sure should be a 2-stop strategy here to the end on fuel.
Yeah, and I wonder if anybody's going to take 4 tires. Some guys on Friday chose not to take 4 and just kept going fuel only, and that really, I think, intrigued into some racing. So something to keep our eye on here, and hopefully everybody's going to be able to bounce back from that. Fortunate for the 071, and these guys are all going to come hit their pit boxes.
Yeah, so we'll watch and see. I feel like it was a short enough run. I think you'll see a lot of fuel-only stops. Maybe some guys in the back might opt to go ahead and get some tires in as well. And then, of course, you're going to have a few guys with a little lengthier stops getting some damage repaired. Hayden Davis is for sure going to be one of those in the 19. He got a little piece of it there, so he's still getting damage repairs to his car. Looking to see not super long for futures. I expect to see longer pit stops for a few guys. Jim Brooks is only about an extra second or two. Thomas Holder, same thing for him. Although, looking at that back of the 11 car, there's still some damage to be dealt with on that car. A little surprised he went back out right away, because if you look at this left rear right here, Brandon, it's definitely pushed in there a fair bit, so he'll be okay. That shouldn't affect the top end. However, I feel like might as well just get that fixed there. So, but definitely some fast repairs involved in this one for a few guys there. So, and I can tell you Hayden Davis is back out there, 33-second pit stop. So looks like car's looking pretty clean though now. And yeah, you're exactly right there. Say commentator's curse always seems to strike, and I say we are very effective at that one. And Eric Laurie got the fast repair. He's back out there. But again, though, that's it for him. He's got to try to keep that car nice and clean the rest of the way here.
Yeah, when I used to race and come back and watch these broadcasts after the race, I would always hear you guys talking about it. And I didn't ever really think too much about it until here lately. And everybody that I'd brought up pre-race or at the beginning of the race was involved in that. So I'm sorry, fellas. We'll just call you by car colors now.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll give lots of attention on Tuesday night to Matt, because he needs a little bit of a tough time there. But I'm looking at the pit stops, though. Look who's jumped up into second now after all this, and that's that 24, last week's winner of Everett Lane. So big jump for him over the pit stop cycle. Dale Rapp as well in the top 10 now, up 7 spots. Joshua Heibaugh, again, third in points coming to tonight. He's now up 8 spots. Vicente's up 10 spots into 12th. So the strategy is starting to bring some of these guys in for maybe the shorter pit stops, or, of course, the wreck avoidance. Drivers that did take 4 tires, I can tell you, are Bob Fitzgerald there in that 08. Jim Duda as well with that 15.3 second stop. So, and then a few drivers topping off here as well. Gabe went ahead and he topped off. Jim Brooks along with him. And then Gary Huffines, looks like Eric Laurie, Maxwell Caldwell. And I think now Thomas Holder opted to get the rest of that damage fixed, because I'm looking at that left rear, looks a lot happier there. So hopefully not a fast repair, because like I said, that looked like very minimal damage to burn one there.
Yeah, definitely don't want to use a fast repair. Like you said, hopefully it didn't look like nothing major, so hopefully he did not. But that always bounces back to when, you said even some of the littlest damages, you're in there, might as well use it. So if it makes you drive better, definitely get it repaired, because you never know when these things could go, straight green the rest of the way. So we'll see. Maybe next caution, we'll pop in there and see what happened over there.
Yeah, so say we're going to cycle back out. We're going to restart here, Brendan, lap 11. Again, 31's the magic number, so basically in 20 laps, that'll be start the last lap of the basically whoever completes 31. So of course coming to 32. So it'll be definitely within the fuel window, so no question marks there. And so I'll wait to see. You might see some guys start trying to creep up a little bit. I'm already watching some drivers that we haven't talked about. I mean, Bud Steele's one of those. Charles Johnson, I say they're starting to work their way up the order as well. So they're going to be going after it here as we hit that restart zone. Cody's going to control it here at the line, and we are back down and away. As you see, drivers just trying to get up to speed. They saw the 19 jump to that top side just to build that momentum up. And there's another little blink thing that may have been Bud Steele that had that quick blink, but looks like no harm, no foul as they get through the gears here back into one.
Yeah, once again, a good start there by the inside lane of the 16 and the 8, really getting the momentum going on that side and really controlling, not letting anybody get in front of them. As we see some guys back here in the back, they're trying to get situated and get moving as the 14 is going to hop to the outside lane and gain a couple spots.
Yeah, so Vince is ready to go. Like I said, he started in the back there with Gabe, and I think he gained enough spots during the pit stop where he said, okay, yeah, let's get up there. Let's try to find my teammate, because I say we know how well the 14 and that 16 work together. So if they can find each other, that's going to be a tough one for all the other drivers to contend with. But again, though, I mean, talk about power and numbers and things of that nature. And the 126, actually a little bit of hiccups there. That is, I believe, Robert Hooligan. And so, yeah, so right now, Dale Rapp probably sweating bullets right now. Just, okay, where is that car going to reappear? And this is a lot of times where the admins might chime in and say, hey, we either need you to get to the top of the track or get to the apron, because right now we just don't know where your car is going to be. And a lot of times what will happen, actually, we'll hop on the roof here of Dale Rapp so you can see, although it looks like maybe, knock on wood, looks like maybe it's settled back in here. So hopefully Robert's got that connection to say sometimes those little hiccups happen, they clear up and then they're good to go. But it looks like Robert is back in business, so that's really good to see. I'm sure Dale definitely breathing a sigh of relief there as well.
Yeah, you're always like just gripping the wheel, like, all right, I'm trying to keep, it's like being on the highway when everybody's speeding, like, okay, you're going 74, okay, you're going 70, I'm going to be right in here with you guys, and let's just hang tight for a minute. But looks like everything's back going, and looks like it's starting to amp up front, as I thought maybe Jack Wallace was going to peek out there to that third lane.
Yeah, Duke Conrad, he got the run he was looking for out of 2, hops up in front of Everett Lane. He wants to get a point there in that number 8 car, saying, and yeah, like you said, a beautiful, beautiful paint scheme. I'll say kind of the gray ghost is the one I kind of remember it as. And I say, unfortunate for me, I don't really remember the original, but obviously it's a paint scheme that Dale Jr. made very, very famous. And yeah, it's, like you said, it's a really good looking paint scheme. But what I can tell you is, so we're going to have an off week on Friday and Sunday. However, next weekend they're going to be doing, the following weekend I should say, going to be doing a throwback weekend. So drivers are going to have time to get those throwback paint schemes prepared. And he's hoping to see throwbacks from the 90s. And so there is going to be a prize for the best paint. So we'll definitely have to have a broadcast choice. As I say, the 101 down on the apron. Can he hang on to it? Oh, he's almost got it here. Now he's just got to try to fight that banking, and he will hang on to it. We will stay green, but unfortunately that's going to cost him the draft, and I think it may also cost Jim Brooks and Gabe Butler the draft as well, because again, just kind of having to react to that. Let's go see if I can find another look at that for what happened to Josh here, because again, he was in the top 15 or so. Let's go back and see if it's already occurred. Here we go. We'll be able to get a good look at it on this side. There's the 101. I picked up the pace, and looks like maybe just a really big stack up. Oh, actually, see, I'm looking at the outside. Look at the 10, the 19. They make contact, and that just really unsettled the 19, where he had to, I think, had to chase it down to the apron basically. Unfortunately, the 19 was there, and then you saw in the background also Eric Laurie. Then this is where the accordion effects, and actually look at Gabe here. Looks like I think Jim got a little bit of a piece of the 88 there as well. And yeah, sure enough, you can see the crinkle in the left rear bumper of the 88 car. So a lot happened in that short amount of time. We'll jump back live here as up front still continue to lead is that 16 of Cody. And like I mentioned, though, unfortunately, the 88 and the 51, they just got to right now just work together, kind of just try to stop the bleeding, just minimize the time loss. And then Joshua Highbaugh at this point, he's going to need a yellow because as he comes out of turn 2, leaders are into 3. So he's going to be in a tough spot right now. But again, still lots of racing to go. Still got 2 more pit stops to go as well here. So hopefully they'll have some time to recover from that.
Yeah, and I know it's not what the 101 wants to hear, but man, hats off driving. That is so difficult to keep that car down there and not come up and take anybody out, and to be unselfish to make sure you don't bring that back up onto the racetrack and hurt any other drivers. So shout out to the 101. Like I said, not what he wants to hear right now, but good will in there. This race is a long ways from over. If he does go a lap down, he'll probably be the only one at that time. So you're asking about 40 or maybe even 50 laps, with one car a lap down. So a lot of race left to go, and he's up there in points, so he definitely can't throw the towel in yet.
Yeah, again, like I said, the nice part is he's right now the furthest back, but right now there's nobody down a lap, and then again also the 51 and the 88, they're together, so they'll lose less time to the leaders than he's going to, which will then allow them to kind of stay on that lead lap for longer. So I think that'll make things just a little bit safer, if you will, for them. But yeah, right now though, things kind of holding pretty steady. So pretty much you have from still first to 21st here all locked on together. And it just seems like Dude and Everett haven't found a way to clear that 16-0 big wiggle there. Everett Lane and Jack Walls. And there's the contact. We're going to have a yellow, I believe, come out here as you got multiple cars. Everett unable to get that car, able to hook back to the right. And so, yeah, caution is out. So, again, that's exactly what some of these drivers are looking for. But, I mean, look at the drivers in this one. You got the 24 there. Saw a few others there involved as well. The 33 as well in this one. Big hit damage to the 33 as well. So, yeah, so caution is out. I think Eric Laurie may have got a piece as well here. Waiting to go and take a look. Oh, yeah, actually, I think there's something broken on the 071s. I can see it just kind of bouncing here. Take a closer look at Eric's car, but unfortunately, I think he's... Yeah, look at what's maybe the left front possibly broken. I'm not sure, but yeah, that car's not happy with life right now.
I have no clue how Bud Still made it through that.
Let's go back.
Had to be very inches away from missing that. That was incredible driving by the 6.
So we'll jump back a little bit, see if we can find... I think it's already started to happen, so we'll back it up a little further. Yeah, you can already see the movement here, so let's back it down a little further. And I think it's just exactly what we talked about. I think just, again, these Xfinity cars, they do not really bump very well. If you bump wrong, they'll definitely get unsettled. But I'm looking at it more now. I'm looking how off-centered they are of one another. Is it possible that Jack was actually maybe working the middle here and they come together? And yeah, it's actually, it's not an uncentered bump. It's just they were... I'm not sure, maybe one move down, one move up, or however you may want to read at it. But yeah, and then at this point, then it's just kind of the accordion effect to have everything. And so you see the 14, the 126, that catches Jack along with Everett. And then does this... I was watching that 714 as well of Doug Webb. He was one that I thought maybe hasn't. Actually, does he hang on to this thing? Oh, man, look at the hands on Doug. And like you said, Bud Steele right behind him, able to just sneak through there as well. So let's hop on with Bud here as it happens. We'll look up on the roof and see what he sees up top. And there's the contact with the 126. And then he's going to do a little bit of off-roading here and just look at all the cars, all he sees there. And he's just going to hook it just a little bit there. And yeah, you're right, just sneaks on by. As pretty much the whole field behind gets involved. And yeah, I mean, pretty much I'm going to say the 6, one of the last ones to come through unscathed. Maybe a few drivers further back here. But I mean, look at this parking lot we've got, though, on the backstretch here. Looking at, I think, does Bob get it woed down in time? I'm watching the 08 car. I think he actually comes to a complete stop and gets through it. So great job on the brakes by Bob. And it was exactly what we talked about, Brandon. A huge, huge break for those guys that lost the draft there. Talking about Gabe Butler in the 88, Jim Brooks the 51, and of course Joshua Highbaugh in the 101. So big breaks for those guys.
Yeah, big breaks for those guys, and an unfortunate break for a couple of those guys. We already seen a couple in that first caution that maybe had to use fast repairs, and I would assume, and if they were involved in that one, they were going to have to use another. So, two fast repairs gone before lap 20. That makes your race become very, very cautious, and maybe you can't be aggressive now as you wanted to start the race. So, a bunch of guys' strategies, as we talk about every week, getting changed up here. And back to that accident, I think it comes back to the setup with these cars and the way these cars run. If you move out to that outside lane just a little bit, the hole is going to close so quickly because just how close they are running. And as you brought up earlier, the pushes are coming. So you may be able to go out there for a second, but if you wait 2 seconds, that hole may be filled and um, tight racing.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And I totally blanked on the fact that yeah, there are the two fast repairs. So I saw Eric had about a 38 second pit stop. So I'm not sure if he took the fast repair and just kind of see how much he had. He's back out there. It looks like he's going to be all right. But yeah, again, just not what these guys are looking for. Obviously, a tough one for Eric, especially because that could be fast repair number 2. We're not sure. And then also looking at pit stops, Jack Walls about 48 seconds. So I think again probably damage repairs, basically just getting what he can. But then I'm looking at Bob Fitzgerald's car. We'll look at the back here of Dale Rapp, but look how center punched that nose is there for Bob. So that's not what you want to have here on the front end of these cars. I feel like he's got some more damage that he needs to get repaired as well. So I think that should be repairable for him to be able to push that out. So what we do have is a few drivers that did top off there. Thomas Holder's one. We do know Everett Lane. Obviously, there's no question he had to take a fast repair there in the 24 car. And yeah, up front though, I mean, look who's now made his way to the front row. Put that 9 of Charles Johnson there, so he's there now. Bud Steele's in there. We saw the amazing save Doug Webb made, puts him up into the top 5 as well right now. So again, drivers able to either get through it or come through fairly unscathed. Puts him in a really good spot now.
Yeah, and we talk back to the guys that are first and second in points. Cody Nagel's qualified on the pole, been aggressive all night, really getting really good restarts and staying up there out of the mess. And we've seen Gabe, he took a different approach tonight, either qualifying troubles or just deciding to start in the back. He's had to miss a couple of wrecks and maybe almost lost the pack at one time. So we're going to see how much your strategy now changes. Do you want to get to the front, or do you still ride back there as the 16 and the 9 is going to bring us back to the green flag?
Yep, as we are back underway here, starting lap number 22. So again, that means about 10 more laps here, Brandon, until we find out who's going to lead that lap. And immediately Charles Johnson going to slot in line there. Saw the momentum wasn't where he needed to be on the outside. So he's going to pop in here, and this is a good opportunity. I'm going to be watching off the back of Cody, because watch for Dean, watch for Charles. I could see a good move with the two of them. I believe both working on the TW Motorsports camp. At some point, I think you'll see Dean and Charles maybe try to jump around Cody again. They will probably want to get to the front there, coming to that completion of lap 31. Bud Steele will be the third car in line. I know we got trouble in the background there. You see that is the 52. And, another car there caught in the background. That is going to bring the caution back out as Dale Rapp is around. And unfortunately, quick yellow here, and that same thing. You can see that car has definitely got that broken left front suspension. So tough start to this race here. We'll go back one more time here. We'll take a look to see how this one unfolded and see if it was contact or just maybe drivers going for the same real estate here. You can see there's most of the field here on the inside line, I think, is the first thing that we'll notice here, Brandon. And yeah, tries to slot in there. Just wasn't the room between the 33 and the 52. And unfortunately, the 52 is going to pay the price for that one. And again, I mean, when you have so many cars on the inside, you're going to want to try to get down there. And just unfortunately, just kind of, I would say probably just misjudged, unfortunately, on that one. But then it looked like everybody was going to sneak through fairly safe. Unfortunately, Robert Amaral there, the 77 car, he got a big hit on that one. And then I believe he's already on pit road here, because that's same thing, probably some right front suspension on his car damaged. So what we'll do here is we're going to jump back live, and we're going to take a quick break before we get back to our restart. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, Brandon, lights are off of the pace car. We're going to get this thing back going, and look at where we're going to restart this race, though. We're going to start this thing back on lap number 26. So that means right on the edge. Can somebody try to one-stop this now? Didn't see as many people top off as I thought I would. It looks like the first is going to be Jim Brooks to roll out of pit road on the top-off strategy. And then there were a number of drivers that did pit, though, from Dean Wilkinson back to Anthony Lane. Those drivers all did pit under that caution. However, from Cody Nagels to Jim Duda, those guys did not pit under the yellow. So very interesting. A lot of different strategies here. If it does go green, at this point, it's pretty much a guarantee the 16 will have to pit for fuel twice. I wonder about the other guys, though. Can Dean maybe stretch it a little bit further to go on one stopper? The guys that topped off, I feel pretty confident that they can maybe pull one off as well here. So, but again, I think for these guys up front here, the top, I'd say 5 or 6 or so, they're looking at lap 31. That's all they're looking for right now.
Yeah, or like the 10 or the 14, them guys not pitting. To me, it's like we're gonna have another caution, and fool me once, shame on you. Shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I'm taking track position over fuel right now. The driver's got to show me something. Like if I'm Vicente or Justin, I'm telling, hey, you got to show me that we're gonna stay green. And if we go right now, fuel mileage won't be a problem. So I'm gonna get up front. I'm gonna get in some clean track position and maybe win some money on top of it.
Yep, and also the big point or the big bonus for Vince too is now he's only got one car between himself and his teammate. And again, we talked about those two work very, very well together. As you got Maxwell Caldwell now move him up to the outside of that front row as well. And say we know Maxwell, when it's time to go, he's going to be one that is on the wheel trying to go for that, go for the prize money, go for the wins of these races. So we'll see what he can do. As see Cody there gets a good jump there. He's going to jump back to the inside, drift up a little bit, but it's going to cut back down. So now it's just who can get the push and the momentum. As you can see, separation from both cars now. But it looks like they're both going to get there pretty equally here. So now it's all about who can get that better push and better run attitude.
Yeah, you definitely want to be smooth here as we're getting back going. You don't want to give a wrong push to maybe somebody that you're not familiar with or a new driver around you, and you may want to make sure you can get to that money. So I really like that start by those guys, making sure everybody had a little bit of space, and as we build that speed up, that's when the pushes will start to come, and it gives your teammates more time to maybe catch up where they're at or get back to where we're going, as we can see some guys here really starting to move around there, maybe that 19 of Hayden Davis.
Yeah, exactly right. And also Justin Davis, obviously got to give a big shout out to Justin's kid over in the chat, rooting him on. So appreciate you being over here, being a part of it. Obviously right now Justin's running in that second spot. Can't quite clear Maxwell, but he's putting himself in a position to try to get that lap led. And there you go. He's going to try to make the move. This is one of those danger spots, though, because it puts him able to lead the top lane, but it also puts two teammates together now in that 16 and the 14. But that's a big push by Maxwell. Can he clear? No, can't quite do it. That's going to allow the inside to reform here and get another charge back on the inside lane.
Yeah, I like that move, though, by Justin. Maxwell not having a teammate. I don't know if Justin knows that, but Maxwell doesn't have anybody, I believe, in a radio channel with him tonight. So, you give Maxwell somebody, that, and it's not a boot knocker. It's not a guy with a big team. It's just him and his cousin. So, hey, I can maybe build a little bit of a trust or a bond here that we can push together as the season goes on more, or even right here in this race. So we can see two small teams here working together.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes because, again, I mean, like we said, Maxwell is definitely not one to shy away from giving some great pushes in that 94. So it's really now it's just going to be kind of who can manage the pushes better, who's going to keep those temperatures in check. And, of course, also the lines do play a role in this as well, where sometimes the outside line will have a little bit more momentum on the top side. So, like I said, it's definitely tough to compete against the two teammates on the inside. They're very, very strong when they're locked on together. But then again, like we talked about, also making new friends. I mean, again, like you said, building that camaraderie, building that trust between Justin and Maxwell, that could be huge in the later portions of this race as well. I mean, add the 33 to that mix as well for Jim Duda. I mean, I don't know if he's officially with anybody either in that 33 car, but same thing for him. If he can make some friends here, he can definitely have something to go after it. But he's got to be careful there as he drifted up just a little bit. And I was watching Everett. I think Everett thought about it, but decided not the time to make that move as of yet. So you always got to be careful not to leave that middle lane open because it is too tempting not to take sometimes.
Yeah, and to bounce back to the 10 and the 94, both, Justin Davis new to the league last season, learning with Team Bootnaka, and then, going off to another team with his cousin this season, and Maxwell running by himself. They're both running in 4th and 5th in points. I think we heard earlier from Maxwell in the season when he finished on the podium that he wants to beat Team Bootnaka, and I think he's understand that how long the season is, and Justin is the same way. We're not going to over push. We're not going to try to do anything crazy. Hey, let's click off good finishes, top 5 finishes, top 10 finishes over and over and over. So we got a fighting chance there at the end, and you can see the two type of drivers that they are, that they're able to hang and not do anything crazy.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And yeah, it's always fun chatting with Maxwell because the driver that he's got on his board, if you will, to like, this is the one I want to be, and that's Gabe. And I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, Gabe sets the bar very high, and he's the reason why so many drivers in that team have stepped up their game. But then you get some of the guys that have raced here regularly, or maybe join in kind of after a few seasons in. And Cody raced here pretty regularly. Kind of took a break from some of the racing, and then he's come back. But again, like, he's one of those guys. I mean, I've seen him do some of the super speedway races that are kind of the big money events that happen from here and there. And those drivers, you have to drive so differently than you can in these ones where you're making huge blocks, big pushes, and he is just in the thick of it every time in those races. So there's definitely no lack of talent. And here you go. This is the big push to completion of 31 to 32, and it will be Cody getting that lap led. So that a little extra cash in his pocket there. So again, great work by the two of them. Now, do we see anybody back it down a little bit here, Brandon, or are these guys going to stay after it now and try to get that track position? Again, some drivers did pit, some drivers did not pit, so strategy is going to be a little different here for if and when we get a green flag stop.
Yeah, if I'm the guys on the outside, I'm still riding. I would let somebody else show their hand first. Let To me, it's just because we know we're gonna if everything stays the way it is, we're gonna have a green flag pit stop, and we know how hectic it is. And you just brought up some guys are on a little bit different fuel strategy. Are they gonna be caught on the outside lane and not be able to get in, and is it gonna cause chaos there? So I was always just ready to let somebody else. Hey, we'll make the move after it. If we get a caution, we get a caution. If not, we don't. So that would be my type of strategy here. Stay up there, just keep running your race, and let somebody else show their hand first.
Yeah, so you say that, as soon as you say, look at Dude Conrad, he's thinking about that third lane. I think he's decided, oh, look at Everett Lane, he's going to squeeze middle. Nope, he's going to roll back out of it. But now the third lane has come, and it's going to be the 8, the 9, and the 101. Looks like Bob Fitzgerald may join that party as well. Oh, dude, cut the wall a little bit there. He has to pull it off. Somehow keeps that car pointing straight, because that car was pointing straight to that middle lane. But luckily, quick hands from Dude there to keep it pointing in the right direction. That was a close call for him. And like you said, this is a little narrower track. It's easy to get kind of caught up into that outside wall. And it was very close there for Dude, but luckily able to hang on to it. So again, though, the guys that did not pit here, Brandon, they last pitted around lap number 19. Obviously a caution in there as well. But if we go with that, if we kind of throw the number in there, so we'll say lap 20, they can go to about lap 45, maybe 46 with the caution laps. So we'll see how far they can go. And then the other guys that topped off, they might be able to go to that lap 50, 51. And that would be that window where they could make it to the end. So again, if we stay green for the next about 10 or so laps, it'll be interesting to see how things change over the remainder of this race here.
Yeah, and if you don't think you need them 4D race wear gloves after about 15, 16 laps around here of white knuckle racing, and then you hop to the third lane and you do what Duke Conrad just did, that's when them gloves start to matter. But I applaud Dude for going up there and getting that third lane rocking, because I don't like when we come to these narrow tracks like Daytona and we wait till lap 70 to get comfortable running 3 wide here. We can see Everett right now getting up there. Hey, get the drivers around here familiar with that. You don't want to be, 3 laps and we haven't done it all race. How is my car going to handle? How close is the wall? We talked about on Friday, Boom brought it up, how hard it is really to drive these cars in the simulator, because it's not like a real car. You can see the bumper of your cars. You can start to see them start to move around here, but you can't really see the physical of where your car is, so it makes it that much tougher. And we can see right here, Everett Lane and Dude, they're making their way right to the front.
Yeah, once you can get that friend you trust there, again, a little bit of a moment there. And that's the thing too, is it's not just you having to make sure you keep it off the outside wall. You're still a little bit at the mercy of the inside and the middle lane. If the inside lane drifts up a little bit, that's going to probably push the middle lane up a little bit, and that's going to find a way into you. So yeah, this definitely gets a little bit scary for these guys from time to time. But yeah, right now though, everybody's able to keep it still pointing in that right direction. But definitely is some close quarter racing right now with these guys, as trying to run 3x3. Oh my goodness, again, I'm watching the 8 and the 33, the 24, the 94. They are so tight packed together.
Yeah, but if you want somebody really leading that third lane, Everett's the one to do it. He runs, you can just see him. He runs a really nice lane. He's not moving off that white line as close as Justin and Maxwell's getting. He's just running a very smooth line. So, and that's what really makes the difference up there. If they could get another car to help them, they would probably move forward a lot quicker. Just 2 cars, tough to do with them lanes. But he is running a really good lane for being up there on that third lane.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job. As right there, you see a little bobble by Justin, again, able to save it. But it's just, these guys are running so close, and just those little bobbles. Again, a little bobble from the 8 car. And so while this is all going on, again, to me, the guys that are kind of like, come on, guys, don't have anything happen. Keep it clean, as Charles is able to sneak to the inside line here. The guys I'm watching are Dean Wilkinson, Charles Johnson. They pitted on lap 23. Bob Fitzgerald, he pitted on 24, so he topped off and he's working his way up and forward. So I really like these guys that topped off and are further up in the running order too, because they know they've got a couple lap margin over these guys that did not pit. So I'm very intrigued. I said I want this to go through a green flag pit stop, because I'm really excited to see how they cycle out amongst each other and what it could mean for the race strategy. because it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's like the stage racing, but when you have that situation where, okay, if you lead the lap on this lap, you get a little bit extra cash. Some drivers opt to make that strategy to kind of go for the $10 or whatever it might be. I think it's 10. But then now they're a little bit off sequence for the rest of the race. So and we see that in the cup races at the bigger tracks where do you pit coming to 2 to go to be able to then cycle back to the front, or do you stay out for the stage points kind of a thing? So there is definitely some strategy coming into play, I think, in this race with the way that's kind of gone through tonight. And yeah, so like I said, right now the top one that I watch on position-wise are going to be the 9, the 55, and the 08. Pending, of course, the 08 being able to get to the bottom. We just don't know how hard some of these guys are saving. Also add Robert Hooligan, Joshua Highbaugh into that group as well.
Yeah, I tell you who's not saving, and that's the 19. While all that chaos was going on, he snuck his way up. He's running in the 5th position now, coming up there to give his cousin/teammate some help. And just before we were up to that race, and they were bumping off each other, and he has snuck his way right up into the top 5, and that 19 ain't done moving forward.
And that's a really good point, too, for Justin, because I was going to mention, as you see a little gap forming here, I was going to say, can Justin get in front of Hayden? That's exactly what they will do. Hayden able to roll out of it just a little bit, get Justin in, and now they don't have to sweat it because at this point they sit 3rd and 4th inside line. There's the contact, though, and we've got cars up and over here as caution's going to come out. Charles Johnson was involved. I think it was the 33 also. Oh, I saw the 77 also getting a piece of that one here. And so caution back out here at 35 to go. The 51 also involved. And I think it was everybody was starting to get antsy. They wanted to get to that inside line and unfortunately just weren't able to get there in time. And I think just that's where the contact occurred from. So once more, we'll take a look at that one. But yeah, from what I saw there, I think it was just an attempt to get to a lane that unfortunately was not there. So let's back it down here. I'm going to focus on the 33s. I believe that's where it started here, Brandon, as they come through us. I went a little bit too far back. That's all right. We'll get it through here as they come through 3 and 4. But what you'll see is, again, we saw more and more drivers start to try to find their way to the inside line here. And yeah, I backed it down too slow there. Apologies. And so we're going to see is I think the 33, I think he was trying to sneak in between Dean and Charles, and unfortunately just didn't quite time it right. Again, this is just kind of how I see it. And you see Maxwell gets a piece, Everett gets another shot there as well. And we'll see. Like I said, I know there's a few others that wind up involved in this one. We'll jump back a little further here because I saw the 51, the 77 as well. And oh, yeah, there's Everett. Oh, look at the 87 and the 83. Yeah, and then just unfortunately, I think some of these guys guessed the wrong way where they're going to go, and both of them making pretty significant contact. But I like where the 52 went. He did some big off-roading there, got out of the way. And then you can see in the background, look at Gabe, look at Thomas. They pretty much just grabbed the anchors, stopped those cars to make sure they were not involved. But we'll jump back up front here because we're about to hit some pit stops. And now there's no strategy at this point, Brandon. It's going to be one more stop to the end with about a 10-lap window that they can choose.
Yeah, I think we'll touch back there on the 88 and the 11. I think they have completely committed to that strategy. We're going to hang out here until the end, and because Daytona is going to be Daytona. But we'll see how they come out after pit stops, after this caution.
Yeah, so now it's another strategy, though, on this one here. I mean, what do you think on this one, Brandon? Do you say, all right, we're going to go ahead and just take fuel only, right side tires, take all 4? I think I saw Lefts go on the 16. He's already down and away. And so I'm watching to see, and you can see a few more drivers. Really not a lot of big strategies that I'm seeing pit stop time. Everybody's in about the 8 to 10 second range. So to me, that means pretty much either 2 tires, fuel only. Maxwell, I believe, probably a fast pair for that 94 car. So I think he went with 4. Jim Brooks, same thing. I think fast pair taken for the 51. And it's about a 12-second stop. So I'm leaning also 4 tires. And then, yeah, Charles Johnson, I think, will be in the same boat there. Eric Laurie, a little longer pit stop. Maybe some lingering damage in the 071. Not certain. And then you have a few drivers making some longer pit stops. And again, I think we mentioned, I think Everett Lane may be out of those fast repairs. So I think he's just got to try to get everything he can fixed. Anthony Lane, I just saw that right rear pop out a little bit. So he's trying to save that fast repair in the 81 car. And then I think it may be a tow, if I'm not mistaken, as I see the 33 still sitting on pit road there for Jim, unfortunately. So, yeah, so that's going to put us under the yellow here. And we're going to restart just outside of 30 to go. But look who've been able to find them, put themselves in 1 and 2 now here, Brandon. Those teammates, 16 and the 14.
What did the 88 take? 2 seconds of fuel? Jim, we see him so far back there now, right? He just manages to sneak his way right in there too.
I'm thinking big fuel save for Gabe probably is what happened there. Is I think he was riding the back just sipping fuel. Again, he was one of those guys that pitted. Actually, I think, let's wait and see. Does he make the sharp left? I think what he did actually there is I think he just drove through pit road and then was going to go back to the back anyway in the 88 car. So I think actually did not pit, and that's how he jumped all those spots. So now he's going to hop in here. I'm guessing probably at this point might as well throw those 4 tires on it. But again, though, this won't make any gains on strategy side of things. It's not going to cut a pit stop out or anything like that. But this has been kind of his strategy tonight, and he's stuck with it. So we'll see how that strategy comes into play. He's also got some of his teammates in the same boat here. You see the 8, you see the 071. Thomas Holder's working with them as well. So he's pretty much got the whole crew together here. And I do wonder also, are they trying to maybe do their teammate Everett Lane here a solid and say, hey, we'll roll back with you here and try to help out a little bit, because I want to take a look. The front end still looks a little center punched, not bad, but you can see the splitter's got a fair bit of crinkles in it. So I don't think that car is 100%, but I wonder if, maybe they're going to say, hey, let's drop to back. Everett's going to be back there too. Let's see if we can help him as best we can as well. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But now there's no strategy, though. Everybody's within about the same lap on fuel here, Brandon.
Yeah, one thing I like about that strategy is I seen the cars going up on each side, so they're going to get 4 tires. A lot of these guys maybe have only taken 2, and we know how. Yeah, I know it's Daytona, it doesn't wear as much, but as you go on, getting to 60, 50 laps on old tires, and you have to jump and use that 3rd lane or that 2nd lane, and your car doesn't control well. That's you don't want to. Not controlling car at the end of this when you really need it to. So those guys are going to have about 30 lap better tires than them if they didn't take tires. So if you need to use that 3rd lane, I like the 4 tires.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. Tires are still going to play a role in these things. So at some point, I mean, at this point, I think, and that's where I like taking the tires now, because then at the last stop of the race, then you go ahead and you just take fuel only, or the bare minimum basically, to get to the end. So, but we're back underway here. We'll see, can the 16 and the 14 get lined up together? And yep, Vince is going to just be able to slot in there behind Cody. Dean Wilkinson's going to do the same. Look at Bud as well. So pretty much everybody's working their way to the inside here. Just kind of, I think, again, nobody can fuel save this to the end. But I think right now people are just trying to maybe settle in, get the momentum built up as well. But you're going to see those Davises, though, the 19 to 10. Right now, those 2 are on the outside line. They got Jack Walls right behind him. And so they're going to try to see maybe if they can push that outside line. But before they can do that, look at Robert Hooligan. He's going for it. He's got Joshua Highball with him. Get that 126 and the 101, getting a big head of steam here entering 3.
Yeah, and I seen the 19 and 10 jump up there, and it reminded me of 2 guys we haven't seen in a while, and that was the Groover brothers. They were the first 2. It didn't matter what track we were at. If there was a lane open, they were hopping and trying to get to the front. So it makes me think of the 32 and the 54 as soon as they went right back up there. And if they're going to run single file on the bottom, hop up and take that outside lane. You never know what can happen, and keep the nose up front and keep it clean. So you can see some drivers already. These guys wanted to tuck in and run single file, not so quick.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly it. There's gonna be those drivers that if there's an opportunity to jump top, they're gonna take it. And yeah, you're right. The Groovers were by far the most. And that was always my joke, was if there's a high line, you're gonna see them of taking that spot. So, but yeah, no, right now, like I said, and the thing is, there's no point not to. Now is the time to get the track position, try to put yourself in the best place you can coming to that final stop. And then, of course, then it's all about executing that final stop as well. So this will now open up the strategy too. Do you pit early? Do you pit late? Because like I said, you're going to have about a 10-lap window here in this one to be able to, when you want to make that pit stop. So they can pit in probably about, I would say safely, about 5 more laps. If they can go to 24, 23 to go, that gets them to the scheduled distance. But if they can go a little further, maybe to, let's say, 20 to 22 to go, that might throw those 2 green-white checkers into the mix as well to be able to make it to the end. So then, of course, you can run it as far as you can. They pitted on lap 42 there, Brandon, so they could go all the way to about 67, so about just under 10 to go. So I'm going to be very intrigued to see because, again, if you can pit early, not lose a lap, caution comes out, you could cycle all the way back up to the front of the field when the rest of the group has to pit under yellow.
Yeah, very good point. And unfortunate right now, I don't think the 24 was able to get that damage fixed as well. But I've seen the 8. He's been pushing the 24 around, and I've seen him get unsettled a couple of times. They're really trying to keep this 3 cars right here. As you can see, he's going to be giving them some big, heavy pushes going down this back stretch, trying to keep this group with that front pack. I don't know if the 24's got it.
Yeah, they're holding very close. You see the 52 there on the apron. He had an unscheduled pit stop. Not 100% sure what happened for Dale, unfortunately. That's dropped him now down a lap in the 52. But yeah, those 3 are working extremely hard trying to keep the 24 in this race. And like I said, if there's yellow, that at least give them a chance to get some more damage repairs. And so that's kind of what you're seeing, though, is the teamwork, though. You got the 3 of them locked on together. Thomas Holder's holding just a couple tenths off of Gabe, just trying to stay in the draft window of Everett and Eric Laurie. And then Gabe is the same thing. He's just holding maybe a couple car lengths off the back of Gary Huffines in the 00. So that's what we're seeing right now is the strategy for those guys is just working the gaps and everything. And you can see right here that they've closed the gap now. You can see there Everett's now just a couple of tenths off these guys due to all the aggressive drafting and pushing they've been doing. So really cool to see. Up front, no changes yet. A few times we've seen Robert able to nose ahead of Cody. Not enough to clear him, however. But we are working in about the next lap or 2 here, Brendan. That window will officially open. So then it's just basically it's that gamble. Do you want to try to pit early? Do you have enough friends to do it and willing to take that gamble, and that you're going to have enough drivers not make a mistake? So it'll be interesting to see who maybe wants to make that gamble. But based on what I see from the boot knockers, they're rolling in the back to try to help Everett out. I think they might run long just based on what I'm seeing. And then it's all about numbers too. So, I mean, where do you sit on this game plan here, Brandon? Do you want to go early? Do you want to go as late as you can? Look at Robert. He's going to try to clear. He does not clear. And that's going to be a huge wreck here. The 16, the 126, and you see the 14s involved. And you can see a few others in the background there as well getting a piece there. I see Dean Wilkinson. He got sent onto pit road. There goes his hood. I saw the hood of Vicente as well. Eric Laurie looks like also got involved in this one. So you see the damage to the right front of his car. Jack Walls, I saw a yellow car, and it was Jack Walls is who I was looking at there, unfortunately. So another big wreck here as we were down to the window. So now we are, no question, good to go to the end on fuel. But let's go back here, take another look to see what happened here. So like I said, it looked like the 126 was for just the briefest of moments clear. But then I think just the inside line, that's why we talked about the aggressive lane changes that happen. And you can see Cody trying to move down. We'll go back a little further here, get a better angle of it. Because I think Cody was trying to stay as far as he could down. But just unfortunately, you can see just winds up in the left rear there of the 126. And there's only so much you do. I mean, he can't stop, so he's just going to get run over in the back. And then you can see in the background there, it looks like Charles just sneaks through there along with the 101 of Joshua Highbaugh. And then we'll watch to see. I'm watching the 714. Does Doug Webb get through this? No, he gets into the right front there. And then looks like Bob Fitzgerald may sneak through all of this. I'm watching the 08 car here as well, Brandon. I think Bob is going to make it through. Looks like Jim Brooks as well just opens up. Oh, does Max? I'm looking at Maxwell in the background. I think he gets a woe down. So I think the ones unfortunate got the worst for wear, though. You see the 55 there, the 14, the 88, or sorry, the 83, the 071. But again, tough break for those guys. The bad break for them is a big break for that driver right there, though. In the 24 car, got some chance to get some more damage repairs for his car.
Yeah, I don't mind the move by the 126, except how slow it was. We've heard from drivers, if you're gonna make it, make it. Drop that car down there, and it doesn't seem like much, but a half second can prevent that. So if you're gonna make that move, just drop right down there and make it. And then I just seen he just eased down there, and sometimes that can be the result of it. But hats off to the 101 before we came to pit road here. He was leading this pack around the field, and we talked about him early in the race of how he had lost the pack and everything that had happened with him. Hey, he kept his helmet on, kept them 40 race gloves pulled tight, and he's still in this, and he's going to come out, looks like second out of pit road.
Yeah, really quick stop by Charles Johnson. You see Cody also able to get pointed back in the right direction. I'm sure use a fast repair, and he's going to only lose basically 2 spots out of all of this. And then here you go. I'm not rolling in the back anymore. Look at the 88 Gabe. He was rolling back all race long. Now he's up into that 4th position. And again, looking through the field here at pit stops, it looks like Maxwell had about a 28-second stop. So to me, that says fast repair for him. Or sorry, for manual repairs for him. Bud Steele about 20 seconds. Everett Lane's already actually down and away here. He only had a 27-second stop, and that car's looking good here, Brandon. I think he might be golden. So I'm going to say damage repairs done for Everett. He's back in the thick of things. Anthony Lane, about a 40-second stop, so he's in a good spot. I think Vicente was definitely a fast repair. He was missing his whole hood. And then Eric Laurie, I believe, it's not been his night tonight, unfortunately. I think he's still getting damage repairs to his car because I think he's out of fast repairs. Dean Wilkinson also definitely a fast repair in that 55. Just, again, you can see we saw him earlier missing the hood of his car, so I think there's no real question there. And then I believe beneficiary of all that, we talked about the 52 having the unscheduled pit stop here. He's going to come out in front of the leaders, and this will put him from 2 down to 1 down, I believe. So we'll see Dale be able to get back to just the 1 lap down. And yeah, fuel's out of the question now, though, Brandon. At this point, these guys can make it to the end on fuel. Green, white checkered's probably a question mark, though.
Yeah, definitely a question mark, but the strategy besides, I believe, the 9 and 16, Justin's been up there quite a bit too, but a lot of them drivers decided to hang out in the back and really ride this race out, including, the 51 and Gary and Bob, and those guys that were just riding, making sure they could make it to the end, and now they find themselves here in the top 10 with going to be, I think, 21 or 20 to go when we restart this thing. So this race has definitely been about being a marathon and not a sprint.
Yeah, no, definitely a fair bit of attrition tonight for sure. But yeah, and you're right. Like you said, the drivers that have been kind of just cruising the back, trying to be careful, and like again, I think Gabe is by far the best example of that. He has really not pushed the issue too much intentionally, and going back a few times. So he's going to be one to keep an eye on. Obviously, we know what he can do. He's going to be a great pusher for that 101 of Josh Heibaugh. We know Cody's going to be a great pusher for Charles. But then the question, of course, at some point, these drivers are greedy. They're going to try to find a way to sneak around one another because, again, now you look for the alliances, and we're pretty broken up. I see the 8's not too far away from the 88. But, again, though, right now, there's really nobody in close proximity up front with one another. So this is one of those ones, again, still a long ways to go, pretty much a full fuel run. But, yeah, no, I wouldn't say any guaranteed partnerships in this front 10 to 12 cars at the minimum.
Yeah, and if I'm in the top 10 or any of these drivers, if you're listening or hopefully not watching, but if you're listening, in that second row, I would assume, just off how the races went tonight, both of those guys still have 2 fast repairs in their back pocket, and when you put the 2 best we've had this season with the just ultimate range of, hey, if I tear it up, I can fix it. So that makes them 2 guys just that much dangerous. So the 9 and the 101 is really going to have to be on it on this restart.
Yep, as we're back underway, Charles Johnson going to lead the inside lane. Joshua Heibaugh the outside, but Cody was ready. He is already clear, I believe, of Joshua Heibaugh as he's already propelled Charles Johnson there. You see over a car length ahead. So now it's Cody's decision here. Do I try to jump as soon as I see the 101 get the momentum to me, or am I going to stay committed to this inside line here for a little bit? So we'll watch what the 16 does here. We'll watch off the back here of Charles Johnson, and there you go. As soon as momentum shifted, said, yep, I'm going to take the spot. But now Cody's going to have to ask, are they going to go with me? The answer is no. The 101's going to jump top. 88's going to go with them. The 101 will clear. And there's a contact. Gabe and Cody both hanging on to it for the moment. That is quick hands from two incredible drivers there. And man, I think if that's any two other drivers, that's probably a wreck there. But unfortunately, now Gabe's in a tough spot. I think you see Jim. Yeah, Jim's rolling out of it, trying to give Gabe a slot to get back in line here. And so all of that craziness, though, that's now opened the door for Charles to get back to the front. And once more, look at that 10 car. Justin Davis right back into the thick of this thing again. We saw him behind the number 16 for that lap 31 completion. Now he is right there again here with 20 to go.
Yeah, Gael, you must have missed it in the new update that iRacing put out. If you tap the gas twice really quick, you can high-five the driver next to you, and I think that's all the 88 and 16 was doing. But what we didn't notice was there was a whole group of drivers that came back down pit road on that last lap. They're going to probably be coming out any second now. So I don't know if it's a strategy or what's going on with them guys.
Oh, yeah, I see that now.
5 cars came down pit road.
No, I think that's going to be some sort of an odd pit penalty, either passing on entry, something like that, or passing before the restart. And yeah, you're right, though. It looks like it caught Dale Rapp, Bud Steele, Doug Webb, Jim Duda, all of I think Everett Lane as well. So yeah, that's frustrating. You don't like that. And the worst part about that is, I mean, they're coming out together, and here comes the field, and this is going to be, they're still building up steam here, so they're not 3 wide right now. But again, though, this is just one of those things where, they're not happy with the situation that they just got themselves in, be it something that they were aware of or that it was out of their control or not, kind of a situation. But yeah, so that's not going to be a fun one. And like I said, they're going to be fighting hard, though, because they want to stay in this lead lap. So you're going to have the 24, the 14, the 126. They're going to try to stay in this main group here. Dale Rapp's just a little bit off there as well with Eric Laurie. So yeah, so there's a lot that could happen here, as Charles Johnson's going to be the first of those to hit that group, as we're down to 18 to go. Again, fuel should be out of the question for a scheduled distance. And here you go, though, Brandon. They are getting to that pack. So these guys got to try to mind their P's and Q's. And you can see the organization up top. Lap cars, they're going to go ahead. Even though they're not happy about how it's happening, they're still going to be that respectful group and jump to the top there. Give the leaders the lines. Because, again, they hope when the shoes on the other foot that same respect is given back to them. But again, it's going to get tight through here just because, again, it's Daytona. It's about 8 feet narrower. And you see Everett there hooked on the outside wall, trying to get unhooked. And he's just going to finally be able to get that done there. I think either try to give too much room or maybe a little bump got him unsettled. But it looks like we're going to be okay, and they're going to stay pointed in the right direction. As we jump back up front, in all of that, Cody's found his way to leading that outside lane now in that 16 car.
Yeah, good move there by the 16. He made that aggressive move to get to the outside lane and does what he does. He loves to be at the front, and if there's a move to make, he's going to make it. And now you don't have any, not much better of a pusher behind you, than Gabe. So that's definitely a move I was going to see to take. And how about Everett Lane, being so unselfish? It's so easy to hit that wall and let that wheel jerk back, with the force feedback and come back on. He made sure he kept it on up against the wall. And not only that, but he stayed with this pack, and him and Vicente are right back here, and they're coming to the front. So that's exactly what Gabe wants to see, is some teammates right there working their way back to the front and maybe get the lap back the hard way and hope for a caution.
Yeah, and the other thing, you see Cody cleared the inside lane. But now what that did, though, is that got some teammates lined up together with the 88 and the 8. So you got Gabe and Jude Conrad now not locked on together. So I'll be curious to see how this duo works. You got right behind them Gary Huffine's in a great spot. Maxwell Caldwell still back in the mix here as well. The 08 Bob Fitzgerald down on the inside lane. And then, yeah, like you said, I mean, this is a big battle for the Lucky Dog spot, because right now Everett has it. Vince is right behind him trying to push him. Robert Hooligan's right there in that mix as well in the 126 car. So you've got 3 drivers that are unfortunately trapped a lap down with that pit road penalty that they had to serve. And they're all going to try to get those spots back. And so there's going to be that fight within a fight. Look at Maxwell. He's actually jumped to the top side. Hey, why don't you guys push me? And Everett's decided against it. But that's going to cost him some momentum, it looks like. Oh, big move by Era there to just get back up in front of Vicente at the last second. Because I was going to say, I think momentum's actually shifting to that outside lane there with Maxwell's move. But, man, that was very, very tight. And I mean, that's Maxwell's best option right now is say, hey, if I can lead that outside lane, maybe I can get the push. But 15 to go here, coming to 14, Brandon. And it is, again, it's just an outright brawl here.
Yeah, I really like that move by Maxwell because you know those guys are going to try to go to the front, and those guys are a lap down. You don't want them guys to be up there with 3 or 4 laps to go in your way in the third lane, and you're just boxed in. So I really did like that move, trying to be up there and be fighting for the lead compared to where those guys they're fighting just as hard, but it's to get back on the lead lap, and then you're kicking yourself because you didn't make the move. But it's starting to fizzle out a little bit, and the middle lane's battling back as Gabe's going to take the lead here.
Yeah, Gabe just in his head. Maxwell giving everything he can to the 8 car there of Dude Conrad. But I got to say, though, for just 2 cars, though, man, that 24 and the 14, they are doing really good job of just staying up front as much as they have been. You can see a little bit of a cycle change. Cody's able to get back a nose ahead of the 88. But that's what it's going to take is you're going to have that ebb and flow in these closing laps potentially. And it's going to be who can kind of time their push at the right time, keep those temps in check, and you're just going to see that front bumper and the rear bumper, they're just going to pretty much just be fully attached the rest of the way. Oh my goodness, again, almost contact, if not contact, from the 94 and the 24 there. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely, there's no lack of effort being given by any of these drivers. They are all going after everything they can here as we're going to be down to 12 to go this time by.
Yeah, and I think what a lot had to play with that third line being up there was them guys, they took them tires so they could really have the control. They weren't going to really move around too much. And they had a really comfortable race car as you're starting to see that 8 hopped right on into that second lane, and 24 is unfortunately going to be stuck out there. But or the 14, excuse me, got in line there. But this now that opens up with exactly what Maxwell wanted. Now he really controls, hey, do I go up here? You know Dude's going to stick with Gabe. He's not going to get out of line, I wouldn't think. So now it's up to Maxwell. When does he make that move and make that third lane happen?
Yeah, and this is also, that was a big move as well because that allowed Vicente to get around Everett. So right now Vince is now in that lucky dog spot. So that's also a big opportunity for him if something were to happen. And again, it's not an automatic if there's an incident and if he gets involved in one way or the other, and even if it's just going through the grass, if you get involved in that incident, it's going to take it away from you and go to the next car in line. So it's in all possibility, there could be something that happens. The 14 and the 24 are involved. Neither get it. It could fall to Robert Hooligan because right now he's just playing it maybe a little extra safe compared to those two. So there's a lot of strategy involved in if you want to get the lucky dog, how you want to get it. And so, yeah, but right now, though, and then Everett's just, I mean, he's doing all he can right now. He is fighting that 14 car even by himself right now. If he gets a momentum run, he'll jump to the top side, try to get his nose ahead. But right now, you can see, again, just the numbers are where they need to be for that 14 to hold on to it. And here you go, though, at the line, Gabe ahead by maybe about a splitter as we're 10 to go.
And you can tell nobody, I think, is really comfortable with where the racing status is here. As you see, Dude's really going to have to make sure this move is smooth. And the 94 right there, I knew the 94 was going to have a really good run there. And was that going to come back to where the hole was maybe filled? And Dude hung on to it perfectly. But I don't think anybody's just yet comfortable. I don't think a lot of these drivers think we've seen our last yellow. I haven't seen not much movement, as they're going to have to be really smooth as they go by the 6 in this corner. But no, really strange moves that, I need to get up a few positions. I think these fellas may think we still got a caution to go.
Yeah, and you can see, as he said, there's the contact, and 9 is around. I saw also the 10 around as well. Big hit for Charles. The 10 car also solid hits here. I don't know if the admins will throw yellow on this one or not because, again, the fact that it was off the racing surface, and I think it just depends on how many cars were involved. But unfortunately, that's going to take the 9 and 10 at the moment out of contention. And so that's really shooken up the running order here. So everybody's going to try to get reorganized now. And you can see right now Bob Fitzgerald, he's kind of got locked out on the inside lane. So that's a tough one for both those guys. Just wrong place, wrong time. We'll try to take a quick look back over to it here to see how all this occurred. And see if I can jump back and find where it started at. So obviously we saw him enter pit lane from it. So we'll focus on the 9 here. We'll take a jump to the outside. Oh, you see that 8 gets super loose there off exit. Maybe a bump from 94, not sure. But that gets him into the 10 and the 9. Look at Gabe here, too. That car, I don't know how it stayed pointed in the right direction. And then, oh my goodness, also I believe that is that, yeah, it's Anthony Lane. I mean, he probably just saw Charles Johnson just flash before his eyes there. But we'll jump back live here as it continues to be. Now everybody's got themselves reorganized here. And it's going to be now the 88 and the 94 together. The 8 and the 24 on the top side. We're down to 8 to go, 7 to go at the line. And again, we're just, I mean, it is... Oh, as I said, look at Maxwell drifting up a little bit towards the 8. A little bit of contact, the 88 and the 16. They still know we got 7 more, right, Brendan?
Yeah, I think they know that, but I think they know how much important these wins are. We talked to Gabe on Friday and how, you know, the team has been doing
contact.
good. Is 88's going to get sideways. He's
big hit here. Caution is out. The 101, the 88 there, the 11, I think. Oh, Bud Steele just took a big shot as well. So we got a number of cars once again involved in this one. This won't get to green-white checkered territory, but we're going to definitely have a number of fast repairs having to be taken once more here. And like I said, the aggression was there, and it just, it felt like it was a matter of time.
Yeah, just what I was saying, like, you know, speaking with Gabe, it's getting later in the races. The pushers are going to start getting harder. The playoff points are going to start getting thinner. And this is hard racing. This is right here, you know. At first, I thought Gabe was going to hang on to it. I thought we were going to come out of this all straight again. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. But these pushes right here, it's just the runs are coming so quickly. And 94 gave the 88 a little push, and then the 101 slides up. It's not like earlier in the race where, you know, you got a lot more room to work with. And just unfortunate for a lot of these guys involved.
Yeah, you see the 24 and the 8 just come through unscathed. But then there come the rest of the field, though. The 88, the 101, the 81, the 94, the 11. All these guys getting a piece of EC in the background there. The 51, he's going to take a pretty solid shot to the outside wall. I'm watching Vince as well. He is just trying to throw the brakes on there. Jack Wall's in the background as well. Because, again, depending on where the cautions fall, and if there's any involvement, it could be the 8 car, or sorry, the 24 car gets his lap back. It could be the 14, depending on if he was involved or not. So there's a lot of at play on that one as well. So we'll jump up front here, and we'll be able to watch pretty obviously here for the 24. If he gets it, he'll just go right around the top. But I also want to watch the 14, and then of course there's the does anybody pit or not. And right now, no, top 2 are going to stay out here. Gabe is going to come in. Again, that's damage repairs. But I'm watching the 24. And I want to watch the 14 as well. And it looks like, yep, it is going to be Everett here. He was able to stay ahead of Vicente, avoid the incident. He gets his lap back. Unfortunately for Vince, that's going to keep him trapped 1 down. Let's go to pit road because that's going to be now all the fast repairs, if available, to go back on. And I'm looking at Maxwell. That car has not left, and that hasn't got that magic fix. So I'm saying probably fast repair gone for him. Probably already used the 2 he had. Excuse me. And you can see him also moving the wheel around, just trying to see if he can feel any change in it. But yeah, the quick fast repairs though, the 81, the 88, the 08, the 51, all these guys threw their fast repair on immediately. Thomas Holder had about a 15-second stop, so I'm going to say tires thrown on his car. And that really unfortunately just leaves Maxwell as the odd one out. It's been an attrition one tonight, Brandon. I'm looking at the timing and scoring. It's going to be 13 cars on the lead lap with Everett's wave around here. And then everybody else is trapped a lap or more down. A lot of retirements, unfortunately. Cars multiple laps down. So, yeah, we're going to restart this thing within 5 to go. And it's just anybody's guess who's going to have the right push at the right time if they can find a friend here in these closing laps.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be interesting, but I know it's Sunday night, and we're all supposed to be relaxed for work this week, but I love a good underdog story, and I'm ready to crack open a course. I'm ready to see that 19, take that 19 to victory lane. That's my pick for tonight, Gael. The 19, we're cracking open a course tonight.
I say that would be a very popular win, I think. And then also right behind him, though, I mean, Gary Huffines, he's going to restart on the outside of the second row. So we'll see what he's got in store. Jack Walls and Dean Wilkinson, that's a very stout third row as well. So, and then I'm looking a little bit further back. Anthony Lane, again, he's the first of those that took a fast repair. Gabe Butler's still going to be in the top 4 rows. Bob Fitzgerald, Jim Brooks will be in the top 10. So it's, yeah, and it's going to be also the lap cars. Where are they going to be all lined up here on these ones? So, but we're going to get the one to go this time around. Right now, Dude doesn't want to give up the inside lane. He's like, I'm just going to stay down here behind the 16. But that could also be a little bit of fuel saving. These guys, again, they maybe have prepped for the scheduled distance. Did they get enough for a green-white checkered? So that's also something we're going to have to watch. But, yeah, so right now it's going to be important. Can the 1900, who's going to be the better pusher of the second row? And then who do we see make that third lane charge? Dean's up there, Gabe's up there. Those are very strong cars. So this will be intriguing to see. And then for Everett, he's going to, of course, have to restart at the back of the lane. So does he go early or not do it? Does he try to get to the front right away? Does he just lay back and try to avoid if there's another incident, bringing out the green-white checkers? He's not done deciding what to do here either. Maxwell's catching back up to the field. That car's not looking great, but that right front's definitely looking better than it was. Might still be able to safely hold the draft. And then Vince has got his hands full here as well because he's got to hold off Robert Hooligan. He's got to hold off Charles Johnson. Those are going to be the lucky dog battles if there is indeed another yellow before we get to the white flag.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that yellow flag away just yet. We've went into overtime quite a few times this year, and we don't get this broadcast name for no reason. So we got a lot of guys up here that want to win and could really use a win right now in the point standings and to really get themselves in position as the season moves forward. And if you can sneak and steal one out at a track like Daytona, that's a pretty good way to do it. So pace car is going to take a hard left down pit road, and we're going to go back to green with 3 to go.
Yep, will be 3 to go here at the line. So again, not in the green-white checkered window here on this one, as it's going to be Cody inside, Dude Conrad on the outside, as we are back to green. And again, a really good jump by Cody here, but maybe too good of a jump because look at Dude Conrad here. He's going to have a big head of steam. He's going to have to decide what to do with it, though, and of course where the pushes are going to be. So then Cody's going to probably have to make that car a little extra wide. Watch the 19 you just talked about. If Cody stays too focused on Dude, that's going to open the door for possibly Hayden to try to sneak to the inside of that 16. We'll watch here as he goes. And no, Cody's going to protect. But look at Dude, though. He's going to get passed on the outside. Look at Dean. Look at Gabe. We talked about could they get locked on together. Dean will clear. Yes, he will. Will Gabe clear? Yes, also able to clear. Unfortunately, that's going to leave Jim as the odd man out on the outside line. But look at Dean all of a sudden. He was about, 6 on the restart. He's now going to vie for that top spot.
Yeah, Dean made a big aggressive move to get by the 00 coming out there of turn 2, and Gabe went with him, and he just pushed Gabe to win a couple races ago. So I think Dean's happy with who he's got behind him. We still got 4.5, 5 miles to go around this big super speedway here. A lot can happen. You definitely got to hit your marks here.
Yeah, no, exactly right. So right now you can see pretty much everybody 2 by 2. Again, the 51 was trying to jump up there with him, and then unfortunately that draft went away because they were able to clear that middle lane. So Jim's trying to find a hole in, can't get one though. See Everett Lane, he's worked himself in there. Look at, there's Dean. He's able to get to the inside lane, jumps in front of Cody. Now what Gabe and Dude have to do here is they want to keep that 16 pinned to the inside lane because if they can, it would then pretty much force it to be between the 88 and the 55 at the line. So, and here you go, though, Brandon, we will get to that white flag. So there will be no green-white checker here tonight. I'm going to say fuel will be no issue for any of these drivers. Now it's just who can get the right push at the right time to the end. As right now, Cody is doing a great job on the back of Dean. Dude is all over the back of Gabe here. Do we see a third lane, and who's going to be the one to lead it off?
Yeah, I think experience really kicked in for that move there for
Oh,
Dean, knowing that we're going to have some cars go around, but I think that was an experience move there by Dean, knowing how Daytona is, how good of runs you get around the bottom. He's going to, it's going to get a little
more
loose
contact
here. Hang on.
Oh, we got 3 cars around, and it's going to be who can get through here at the end. And it is going to be Gabe Butler getting the win here after that crazy turn number 4 contact. Gary Huffine's going to bring it home in second. And Maxwell Caldwell, all that damage, is going to bring it home in a podium spot in third. We're going to have to go look back at that one because that was wild there at the end. Jack Walls, Anthony Lane going to bring home top fives. But we had about 3 different wrecks on this last lap here, Maxwell. And like I said, I don't know if it was something in the air. You can see the fireworks going off, but eventful, I think, is the word for the night on this one tonight. So let's go back here first down the backstretch here. I don't know where it officially started. I think it was, I saw Charles Johnson get involved in it, but I don't know if it was really of his doing. I think it was just he was in there. And you can see Charles, he looks to the inside, and it's similar as we saw earlier. So he and Everett Lane get together. That unfortunately catches the 81 there. The 08 of Bob Fitzgerald, and then everybody's just trying to get these cars gathered back up here. And you can see the 126, the 81, the 101. Oh, there's 714 there as well. You see him go down into the grass there. And then you're thinking, and then again, but we got to watch Maxwell. Again, Maxwell was behind all of this, and so he's able to recover. He jumps back up to the top here. But now let's go back to leaders, and actually let's go back a little bit further. So you already see, and I'm going to say it might be a little bit of a push, possibly that upsets the 55 of Dean Wilkinson here going into 3. So I already see him get loose there, so I may have, same thing, we'll go back. I apologize. I said we're going to go back one more time, get a better look at it here. So I need to find an angle. This will show it nicely. And to see if, now Dean just gets loose, it looks like there. I'm not sure if I see anything there, but he's of course now just trying to chase it. Cody gets into the back of him. Just again, when he gets the apron, he's going to lose that momentum. And then from here, it's just everybody's just trying to hang on to their cars. So you see all these guys pointed straight for the moment. The 88, the 8, okay for the time being. But then you see the 55. He gets the back of the 8. That sends him around. The 00 able to sneak through, and then you see all these guys get locked on together. And then Gary Huffine's, he's able to still sneak through. But then where's Maxwell in all this? He sees the wreck. Again, it's towards the end. Nobody's going to want to check up. And you can see, that track is blocked. Jim gets into the back of Jack Walls there. And we're going to go back and watch this from Maxwell's one more time, because to say the seas parted here, Brandon, is not enough on this one.
Yeah, I definitely think that would be an understatement. And I don't think Maxwell would have thought in 100 years of where he came off of turn 2 would be where he finished. And definitely stayed in it. You can see he's never letting off. He's still passing cars, and definitely took the right guess. This one, as you can see, a bunch of cars come right in front of him. I bet right there he thought it was over. And then he just...
That is the craziest.
The checkered flag.
That is the seas parting for Maxwell Caldwell. He had a tough night, but he's still going to bring it home in the end in that podium spot. But my goodness, just everything tonight. We always make the joke of if it was a full moon or something like that tonight, but it was a wild one tonight here, though, Brandon. But let's go. We're going to find our drivers to chat with. We're going to start off with this guy who we just showed. So let's hunt down that Maxwell Caldwell. You already got him in over here. Maxwell, we went back. We saw the last lap there. Obviously, the damage. The damage maybe was the saving grace on that restart. Got you behind all the craziness, and then you did some great avoidance, and then that out of 4, the seas part for you, and you bring it home in third. Is that probably the craziest podium you've had, or take us through that one?
That probably tops it, man. I just watched on your broadcast. I'm like, they're gonna go back and watch this. Like, that was freaking insane. But I'm gonna say that has to make up for the amount of times I just got took out or hit, or I was like a wreck magnet tonight. It was pretty sad. But all in all, we had a good car. Like, anytime we race our way up to the front, we could really hang up there, and we're making good runs, good pushes. I do got to apologize to Gabe Butler. I didn't cause that second to last wreck that set us up for that, but I gave him a push, kind of knocked him down as the 101 came up and kind of put him in that spot. But what do you do there? Like, you're trying to get, that person in front of you up ahead. So it was white knuckle racing there the last probably 20 laps there. Everybody was just on full push, and the lap cars were trying to run the third lane. It was nuts. But that wreck, holy crap! I have never in my life had like you said the seas just part and just drive right dead through the center of something like that and get through it without someone last minute hitting me in the rear or something. And I kind of told myself that Area 51's known for white flag turn 4 wrecks with the leaders, so stay in it. And I mean the car had damage; it could draft, but it was not. I couldn't get a run. Like it had 7 minutes of damage still on it. So the fact that we're going to get a podium after all the bull crap, for lack of better words, we went through and get a third place, I'll just take it and move on.
Yeah, one heck of a finish there for you tonight, Maxwell. And I don't think it was just tonight, it was Friday also. And do you think the chaos comes from just how you can't really pass like you can at other super speedways at Daytona and it's so tighter, so when you have a run you have to take it, or what do you think really intensifies the racing here at Daytona?
I don't think it's anything you mentioned. I don't think it's that hard to pass here if you got the right people in line. But I've raced Area 51 for years, and I like a lot of the guys in the league. And you would think after season after season after season of doing this, some guys would get better. But just, I mean, we had 3 wrecks where people just cleared themselves. I mean, that's kind of like Charles said in the race. That's kind of inexcusable. We just had a lot of things that could have been avoided, but people still chose to make what I would call like a 500 I rating move, if that makes sense. Like just a very inexperienced rookie move. As far as pushing and stuff goes, yeah, I mean, if you bump somebody, it kind of jolted you left or right just a little, but it wasn't anything you couldn't manage. Like I feel like I could have took pushes all night long, and even there pushing Gabe, like I noticed if he was veering left, he just had a slight steer to the right to keep it straight, like it was no big deal. But just a lot of the wrecks tonight, I feel like were easily avoidable. Even if we were aggressive, they were avoidable. It was just caused by someone making a very boneheaded type move. So I'm not mad about it. I mean, getting wrecked 4 or 5 times tonight is not ideal, especially when a league specializes in this. But I feel like these guys are better than what they showed tonight. So hopefully next week everybody will kind of straighten it up. Maybe Charles will probably have another chat with all the drivers before the race, and we'll be able to have a pretty good clean one.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was definitely wild to say the least tonight, and I mean, again, like you said, to be able to bring a home third with what you had damage wise remaining and everything. I mean, it also kind of shows what we talked about before a lot too, where it's just not giving up on the races, and it's like, yeah, okay, my car's hurt, but I can still try to salvage something from it, because you still got to try to get that top 12 in the points by the end of the first 12 races. So. Or 10 races, apologies. So yes, I mean that comes into play, and in that, I say this will be the first kind of showing of a drop week, and so with the drop week and with tonight's results, I mean you jump now 4 spots into 4th in points. So I mean it again just shows. I mean if you just said screw it, I'm parking it, like I've got so much damage, it's too frustrating. I mean you probably would have given up about 20 points in that situation. So. It also, I think, to me, also says a lot about just sticking it out, and because you never know how these are going to turn out. But yeah, like I said, this is probably one of the wilder ones, especially coming to the line, 2 separate incidents. You get through both. Yeah, like I said, I don't think I've seen the C's part like that either. But Maxwell,
if you don't use that replay for your green, white, checkered reels you do before the race, you're crazy.
I
that's
like
awesome.
that idea. That was something for sure. But before we let you go, and as you're going to have to obviously tell Todd about this one and show him the finish. But man, we always got to give you the floor though. Any thanks and shouts for that podium tonight, sir?
Absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, above everything else, got to give my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ a shout out. Man, he's just so good. The blessing it is to be able to come back and race with Area 51. I know I kind of sounded like maybe a sourpuss in this interview, and I didn't mean to. I know these guys are better, but it's still a blessing to get to run with these guys each weekend and hang out with you guys. And it's just kind of a family type atmosphere around here, and I really like that. Other leagues can be pretty stressful, and this one's pretty laid back. So enjoy that. So blessed to be here and thankful the Lord's blessed me with the equipment and things I need to be able to race. So glory to Him. Got to thank Merkel Racing Engines for being on the hood. Man, Todd sponsored me for multiple years now in multiple leagues, and it's just always fun. I have no clue where he was at tonight, so I'm definitely going to send him that replay and say, you've got to watch this. But yeah, shout out to him for sponsoring. He's a great dude and a long-time Area 51 racer as well. I would say I'm thankful for my teammates tonight, but I didn't have nobody. So I was kind of lone wolfing it tonight. That's not normal. So for lone wolfing it to get third, that's pretty good. But also just thankful for the league for letting me come and race each week. And you guys up in the booth, again, been there, done that, know what kind of work it takes. And I doubt y'all didn't have a whole lot to talk about tonight. It seemed like strategy was all over the place. Wrecks were all over the place. And it's always a lot to talk about when you get a finish quite like that one.
Yeah, there's definitely no shortage of things to talk about topic wise for sure. Like I said, and it was a little bit of everything tonight. Like you said, just the outright racing, the strategies, and everything. So, man, again, great job tonight. I'll be looking back at that one a couple times, try to just figure out how you got through it. But yeah, great job tonight, Maxwell. Looking forward to seeing you on track again here soon, sir. Though, but go enjoy this one, and yeah, definitely give Todd a hard time from us.
Will do, and I'll be looking for your new promo video. So
I need to get one actually. So yeah, I agree with that's a good idea. All right, here, Brandon, we're gonna jump one spot further forward, and that is gonna be to this 00 of Gary Huffines. And I mean, we talked about Gary a lot. I feel like tonight, Brandon. Like I said, he was in the spots at the times and probably one of the few up front there at the end, Gary, that were able to kind of just barely get clear of all that craziness. I mean, obviously, we talked to Maxwell. It was an eventful one, obviously, for all of you guys. But, I mean, take us through it because, I mean, you gained 14 spots to get into that second spot at the end. But it wasn't you weren't just kind of sitting there. I mean, you got up to the front, I feel like, pretty early. And you were working the lanes and trying to put yourself in that best spot at the right time. So, I mean, how much work was it for you to try to keep yourself up front when you got that track position?
Well, I kind of felt like Dale Earnhardt Sr. I was going across there. We won it. And then my crew chief said, no, we're second. So I kind of calmed down there and realized that we were second. But it was tough. The racing was really close tonight. It was really tight. Think that everybody worked pretty hard to get their positions they got. And it was pretty clean racing. I mean, there was a few cautions there that could have been probably prevented, but it was all in all a good race. And I did try to put myself in the right positions at the right time. And I want to thank Roswell for working with me also and taking me in and teaching me a few ropes and working with me. But we all got put in a pretty good position tonight. It just didn't work out there at the end for all of us, but we were there.
Yeah, it was definitely exciting racing, and there's nothing better than having a team help you out. And I'm glad you touched base on that. How much really we talked about Maxwell talked about how he ran by himself, and really how much does that really impact the race of knowing you got some guys around you to help you at a track like this?
It makes all the difference in the world at a track like this, because if you don't have a partner, if you don't have a dance partner to dance with, you're all by yourself, and you cannot get to the front without help. And there is other guys that'll work with you, but if you don't have a teammate that is willing to stick with you the whole way and work with you, then you're not going to win these races.
No, and yeah, and I mean something actually, and I'm glad you said it too because it is something we brought up during the race as well, where it's one of those things where if you are kind of either rolling solo or maybe just don't have a team maybe established that you have had a chance to race with, where the guys are usually these teams are open. It's like, hey, yeah, no, come hang out with us, and it's not even on the strategy, or it's not even on the maybe the drafting or the pushing, all that. It's also kind of the strategy where it's like, hey, we're thinking about pitting at this time, or my numbers say I could top off at this time and we can make it to the end. I mean, was there like, did you feel like you're also just getting a lot more info, like non like pushing and strategy side, but just the overall like kind of more options to work with over the course of this one tonight?
Absolutely. I thought I would stay in the back and try to use some strategy and work with the guys back there, but all of a sudden it just changed, and started going up there on my own and seeing what I could do on my own in case I ended up on my own. I hated the way that the race ended, but that was a really, really good race there towards the end. And to set the record straight, SFR, Silver Fox Racing, those guys are great. I did not leave that team for any reason, no conflict. It's just we weren't gelling, so we moved on, and so far so good.
Yeah, I know, and I mean, like I said, and same thing. The great group of guys over there as well. Obviously, I've got to chat with them a little bit here and there, and yes, no, I mean, it's really cool to say, Lance, and also, I mean, you can get to know some of the other guys a little bit better in that way, and it's something we've tried to do before too, where we have the broadcasters maybe hang out in a chat with one of the other teams just to kind of get to know everybody and all that too. So I say there's a lot of fun ways of kind of working with that, but again, Gary, I mean, great job getting up front, being up front, and then of course the great job of able to keep that car pointed in the right direction to get there to the end. Yeah, just that pesky Gabe. He always finds a way, it feels like, to sneak through these at the end. But definitely got to give you the floor, sir. Any thanks and shout outs for that runner up tonight.
Absolutely, thank you. And I'd like to thank my sponsor, Ohio Valley Towing. They're located in Tell City, Indiana. If you ever need us tow, they're the way to go.
I appreciate it, sir. Gary, always a pleasure, man. Looking forward to seeing more of you up front in these races. And like I said, we'll get you one spot better. I'd say you just keep putting yourself in that position. It's one of those things where you get there enough times, and one of those times luck will turn your way.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Maxwell and Butler, for the win.
All right, have a good night, sir.
Thank you.
All right, that leaves us one fellow left to chat with, and probably a very easy going, no drama last lap for the 88. But before we get to the last lap, Gabe, we're going from the first lap to about, I don't know, maybe 15ish to go. You had no interest in being up front tonight. I mean, just was it something you felt in practice and like, yeah, this isn't feeling like an upfront safe race, or what was the game plan tonight? Because usually we're used to up front leading laps and kind of controlling things, but seemed like you had a different game plan here tonight.
Yeah, there was a couple of things going on. The car didn't feel right on the track for some reason. I was talking to Maxwell earlier, and it felt like the car was quite literally shifting sideways in the corners on four tires. It's one thing if it gets loose or if it gets tight, but it seemed like the whole car to me felt like it was, like Maxwell probably used the correct term, it seemed really bound up. And I just didn't feel good about that. And then the other part of it was I wanted to try a fuel strike race for a change because of the amount of laps we were getting per tank. So there was a couple of things that worked there, but I just had a bit of a concern with the car here at Daytona. It was just kind of felt really strange to me tonight.
Yeah, that was definitely a good point because we've seen a lot of moving around from these cars, and we just thought, it's Daytona, and these guys are just pushing hard, and that could explain a lot of what caused tonight's accidents with some of them. But I want to bounce back to, we just watched Dean jump there to the bottom. Did that surprise you at all that he didn't stay up there with you, knowing you had a teammate behind you, or with what you said about the car, was it more comfortable, do you think, on the bottom?
I think the car would have been more comfortable on the bottom, but having said that, now I was really hot pushing Dean, so I'm glad he did move to the bottom. But just looking at the replay, I think he caught the apron a little bit there on that last go around, and there was nothing Cody could do. I think Cody got into him and caused that last wreck. And I was just, for some reason, I don't know how the hell I was able to come out of it alive, but they were all in my rearview mirror just dead. So, I mean, I hate winning races that way, but I mean, I guess a win's a win. The stats don't go back and look and say, oh, he won because it was a wreck, or he won because he beat somebody side drafting him. So, a win's a win, I suppose. Ugly one, but it was a win.
Yeah, and I mean, I really remember one a few seasons back where basically you have your car coming through unscathed, and then there's nobody behind you, like just everybody's pointed in other directions. But yeah, no, we saw the same thing. It looked like Dean either caught the apron or something, and yeah, got a little loose. And unfortunately, like I said, at that point, everybody's just pushing for all they're worth, and yeah, Cody just nowhere to go. And then it was just basically, yeah, who could keep their car pointing in the right direction for a moment? It looked like Dude was going to be able to stay with you side by side. Then he got caught in I think the left rear that sent him around. And yeah, it was wild. And then I'm sure if Maxwell hasn't, say, you'll have to check out his last lap, because I think him getting third is probably even more wild than you getting the win and keeping that car pointed forward. It's something to see. But yeah, I mean, it was eventful tonight, Gabe, and like you mentioned, the fuel strategies, and we had a couple times, and that was the other thing I wanted to touch on was you mentioned the fuel numbers from the get go, but then there was a point where we were approaching that lap 31, the bonus lap for that Charles had put on, and so some guys stayed out, other guys opted to go ahead and pit, and so it was going to be in a window where the guys that pitted could maybe cut a pit stop out of it, where the other guys that did not were going to have to make 2 stops. So, I mean, was that something you were looking at prior to, unfortunately, the caution coming out that kind of got rid of that strategy?
Yeah, because I would have been able to make it on one more stop, and all the guys that had stayed out would have needed to. So that's why I stayed at the back there, and I think we only had maybe about 5 laps to go before I would have had to pit, but I think they would have had to pit 3 earlier, if not 4, and unfortunately a caution came out, so that kind of threw that out the window. So it was kind of time to go then after that.
Well, but so yeah, that's one of the things. One of the pit stops, we see you up in about the 4th spot. It's like, all right, well, here we go. Gabe decided no more riding in the back, and so the last to first challenge is complete from 24th to the win here tonight, Gabe. Great job. Gotta, of course, as always, give you the floor. Any thanks and shouts for that win this evening?
Well, of course, the teammates. I mean, they all seem to have their own bad luck tonight. I mean, between Doug and Thomas, and then Eric having power issues, and just getting caught up in these unfortunate wrecks. And for some reason, I was the lucky one that got out of it. But again, it's all about your team, man. And I just got lucky. So hopefully, one of those guys will get lucky next week and bring it home to victory lane. But yeah, big shout out to Area 51, of course, all the admins, you guys up in the booth. This will be an interesting one to go back and look at and hear your thoughts on it. And yeah, we'll maybe I need to talk to some of the guys about the setup and see if we can do something a little bit different with it to make it a little bit more stable. And I think we're off next week, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so we'll see everybody in a couple of weeks.
Yep, and then saying if you have a throwback paint scheme you can pull off, then so you got some time to prep it. But I don't know if you can go away from the Guinness car, so I'll give you a pass. But yeah, and unfortunately we did catch what happened to Eric too, and that was definitely an odd one for sure that we saw as well. But Gabe, always a pleasure, man. It's always fun chatting with you. But yeah, go enjoy this one, and we'll see you in a couple nights' time then.
All right, guys, take care.
All right, Brandon, that is the 88 of Gabe Butler getting the win, avoiding the last lap chaos, and able to keep that car pointing in the right direction. And while we were chatting with him, I was watching on the replay. I don't know if you saw it too, but man, his arms, like, and the wheel, you see the hands, you see the wheel. It wasn't him just pointing straight. He was sawing on that thing, back left, back right, to try to keep that car pointing in the right direction. So it wasn't just one of those luck of the Irish, if you will, situations there. That was him. He was wheeling that thing to keep it pointing in the right direction, and that's a big part of why he was able to still bring it home in first tonight.
Yeah, and he touched on it. He said these cars were already a handful to begin with, and then you make contact, and to be able to keep it around. And it's not only just Gabe, but the other drivers tonight when the car broke loose on them or whatnot. Some of them were still able to save it, hitting the apron or whatnot. But the 88 finds himself in victory lane at Daytona once again. So I don't understand how it happens. No matter what strategy pulls out, that 88 finds his way to the front. So congrats to him, and I'm excited for the throwback weekend.
No, that's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys come up with. I say there's always a lot of original drivers and ideas that come out, so that'll be a lot of fun to see on the themes as well. So, but yeah, Brandon, again, as always, a pleasure. I also got to mention something Gabe said too, and that's one thing I love about this group is they always want to find a way to improve things. And so he had mentioned that something just didn't feel right with the setup, and so he's immediately like, hey, let me take a look at it, see if we can figure out why it was doing what it is. And then he'll be able to talk with the admins, and maybe next time we're at Daytona, it'll be the cars will drive the way that they felt like they should. And so yeah, really cool for that to work out. So but yeah, Brandon, as always, man, really appreciate you hopping in with these. It's a lot of fun to do with you. And yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday night for the Indy cars at Watkins Glen. And then we'll, again, a couple nights off, just the same thing, just kind of split up the season a little bit. That way we're not having a huge off season around September, October range, stretching out a little bit further into the year. But yeah, so we'll be back though in a couple nights time for Tuesday, and then we'll have the Friday, Sunday off. Then we'll be back again there following week. So as always, until next time though, take care, stay safe everybody, and have a good night.